You got to kick it off with a killer to grab attention. Then you got to take it up a notch.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us.
Who are you? I'm Shiva, the god of death.
Cells. Interlinked.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Folks, welcome to Debaser, a film podcast. I'm Jared Rusk, and I'm joined by my co-host, Will.
Tonight, we cancel the apocalypse.
Hell yeah. On this show, we explore both new and familiar movies as we attempt to analyze and interpret them, all in an effort to debase the films and ourselves.
Is it racist for me to try and do an English accent?
Racist? No.
Okay. Will I get canceled?
No.
I'm just wasn't.
You're fine.
Yeah.
You can do an English accent.
Okay.
That's acceptable.
Okay.
You do a patois?
But what's not acceptable is that Italian one you did last episode.
No. Italian people are white. I can do that one. Don't do a patois.
I don't know what is patois?
Jamaican.
Oh, fuck no. Absolutely not.
Brad Pitt does it in Meet Joe Black. Is that the movie?
I think so, yeah.
A very insane film. And he just busts out a patois accent out of nowhere. And it's like a big moment in the film. And it's like watching it now. Like it's making the rounds on Twitter now because it's like jarringly like awful.
I know Tom Hanks' kid does it.
Oh, yeah, he does. Chet Hanks. Yeah.
Fucked.
It's
Absolutely
so funny,
fucked.
too.
Yeah, it is.
That's all I'm going to think about now.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Will.
Yes.
Can you believe it?
I actually, no, wait, hold on. I'm not going to be in disbelief. I actually can believe it.
Yeah.
I knew we had it in us.
We missed. Okay, this is our year anniversary of the show.
That's right.
Because I should address the audience.
Yeah. Hi,
this
listener.
Is our 50. This must be our 51st episode because we missed one the week my daughter was born.
That's right.
We did not have an episode prepared for that.
Oh,
week.
No.
I think we get a pass on it, though. Well, yeah, we did 51 episodes.
Holy shit, dude. We did a whole
crazy.
fucking year, man.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
It's nuts.
And what a way to celebrate.
Yeah.
Than talking about.
we had to do it to him.
We had to
cover the film that probably comes up more than any other film in a positive way on the show that we are always referencing, that we're always doing the theme song. We're always sending each other reels on Instagram of it.
Yeah, dude. There was that one episode we were just going da-da-da-da-da.
I think I was like, we have to end this episode. We just keep doing Pacific Rim.
I love
God,
this movie.
it's such a good movie. Like we didn't even see it together, did we?
No, we didn't. I saw it in a drive-in with Michael.
Wow.
And Haley was in the back seat.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what the other movie we went to go see, but Pacific Rim was there, and it was the second film.
Oh, it was like a double showing at like Silver Moon.
Yeah, it was a double showing. Haley did not give a shit about Pacific Rim, but me and Michael are nerds, you know?
Yeah.
And God, it was pure elation when I saw that film. Like, I wish that 40X was an experience that I knew about or even existed when the first movie came out, because I can only imagine like how nutty that shit would have gone.
Yeah, I think I knew of the film, but I wasn't really sure what to expect. I was like, yeah, it's going to be like a dumb movie with like mecha and like you know, kaiju and stuff. And then I was like just fucking floored on my fucking ass for the next 2 hours. Like I had no idea how good that shit was going to be.
Yeah.
The world building is so good. Like the first 20 minutes, like the intro, like the 17 minutes until the title card drops.
Right.
Is so good.
Yeah, because it's like when the first kaiju hit, you know, it took us 6 days to stop it from advancing. And then we all, you know, relaxed. And then the next one came. And it hit this place, and then Cabo, and then we learned that in order to defeat monsters, we have to make monsters of our own. The Jaeger system, you know, all that stuff.
It's so good.
Just to have Raleigh and Yancey run out, try to beat kaiju, and get. Is
it Knifehead? Is that the one that fucks them up?
Yeah, it's the kaiju that we meet.
Riley's
Yancey,
is it Raleigh?
Raleigh's
brother dies,
Yancey,
and then he just like has to solo pilot it all the way to the Alaskan coast,
which is like next to impossible
Right. Well, we understand that like it's very, very difficult
for one person to pilot one of those things by himself.
Oh God. Well, let me.
I'm so sorry.
No,
into it,
dude. This is why this movie is so good. So the name of the film is Pacific Rim. We've already dropped it. The movie released in 2013. Can you believe this movie is 11 years old?
I can't. I can't.
It's incredible to think. And having just watched the like 4K Blu-ray of it,
it's still like
the CGI is just tiny bit dated, just a tiny bit,
a little bit.
But they did such a good job. And it looks so beautiful in 4K. Like I haven't actually watched a 4K Blu-ray in like a minute now since like the baby was born.
Yeah,
because like it's like hard to like go and get it and put it in, and then I got to get like a real remote for my PlayStation. Ugh, it's so annoying because like using the controller to like pause and start.
Yeah, pausing is like triangle.
It's dog shit. You got to hit triangle, then you got to open up the menu and then go to the. It's dog shit. I got to just buy a fucking remote anyway.
Okay, Grandpa.
I know. But it looked so good. And I was like, I forgot. Like, I was like, Courtney, come here. Look how much better this looks than streaming. It's so good. Like, she was like, oh my God, it's like crystal clear. I was like, I know, it's so good.
That's wild.
The film is available to stream on Netflix. It actually recently dropped on Netflix. I think
I did. That's right. I remember
2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
I watched it 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
That was
why. Yeah.
It was advertised to me and I was like, oh, Ezra, let's watch this robot movie.
Yeah.
And he was like, stuck around for the first fight and was like, this movie's stupid. And fucked off.
Allison watched a lot of it with me.
She can't get away from it.
But she didn't have a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
The film stars Idris Elba, Charlie Hunnam, Rinko Kikuichi.
Oh, I don't know how to say her last name, but that sounds correct.
I think that's right. Apologies to her if that is not right, but I feel like that's good. Phonetically, at least. And Charlie Day. The official synopsis of the film is: as a war between humankind and monster sea creatures wages on, a former pilot and a trainee are paired up to drive a seemingly obsolete special weapon in a desperate effort to save the world from the apocalypse.
Oh yeah, that's great. That
Film.
actually is pretty much there. I mean, they missed a lot, but yeah, that's works.
I mean, it's a brief official synopsis. What do you want? Pacific Rim was written by Travis Beacham and Guillermo del Toro.
Travis Beacham.
Mm-hmm. Travis wrote for Clash of the Titans and the show Carnival Row.
That's where I know him from, is Carnival Row.
That has to be it, because all of his other IMDb credits, I was like, what is that? So not a prolific writer. Guillermo del Toro, on the other hand, is a legendary Mexican filmmaker known for films such as Nightmare Alley, The Shape of Water, which won Best Picture that year, Crimson Peak, Hellboy, and Hellboy 2, the good Hellboy movies. I just want to say, because like, the David Harbour one I hear is like
I've
really
never seen
disappointing. Yeah, Pan's Labyrinth, The Devil's Backbone, Mimic, Kronos, and Blade 2, baby.
Oh, that's right.
Love
the best
Blade
one,
2.
right? No, Blade 1 is still the best one.
I think Blade 1 is forever going to be the best Blade movie. Maybe the best Marvel movie ever made.
Okay, calm down.
But Blade 2 has a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
It was like one of the first DVDs I ever had, so I watched it all the time.
I gotcha.
It introduced me to Norman Reedus.
Oh, and the Funky Fetus?
Actually, it is the reason Norman Reedus was in Death Stranding.
You're fucking kidding me. Because
Guillermo del Toro became really good friends.
That's right.
Here's how this works, okay?
We're not going to talk about Pacific Rim.
No, we are, but
no, let's hear it.
I want to build this out because I find this fascinating. Yeah. Guillermo del Toro really liked Norman Reedus and cast him in Blade 2. And that was like kind of how he blew up in Hollywood finally.
Yeah.
And it's like a small role, but he's like really good in it. And then, so Guillermo del Toro and Norman Reedus have a good relationship.
Yeah.
Hideo Kojima, director of the Metal Gear Solid series, famous video game developer, watches this film, Pacific Rim, and is in love with it and praises it so much. He says something to the effect on Instagram or whatever, because he loves to go on social media and be like, I saw this movie today. It was amazing.
Yeah.
10 out of 10, blah, blah, blah. But he says something to the effect of like, this was like the best kaiju film I've ever seen. I am so glad I was alive to see this. Like, I never thought in my lifetime something like this would ever happen.
Yeah, fucking same.
Yeah. And so because of that, him and Guillermo del Toro become good friends.
Okay.
And like their people reach out to each other and like they become like buds.
Yeah.
Which he does with a lot of filmmakers and actors, to be clear.
He's like good buddies with Mads Mikkelsen too.
Oh, yeah. Tons of people. Right now, he's like really good friends with Hunter Schafer, who he's cast in his new horror game.
That's right.
Which looks incredible. Also, this means that Hideo Kojima is a friend of the trans community.
Yes, he is an ally. We like
Kojima.
that.
We love to see that shit.
Mhm.
Also, Hunter Schafer's in this new like Nick Cage horror movie called Cuckoo that I think we should look into.
Okay.
We might. I don't know if it's good enough. We might cover it.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it.
It looks fascinating.
I'm down.
Anyway, so because Norman Reedus is friends with Guillermo del Toro becomes friend of Hideo Kojima.
Mm-hmm.
Kojima has left Konami after the whole scuttlebutt with Metal Gear Solid 5 and is filming a new studio and is starting a new game and needs a protagonist. And he's talking to his good buddy Guillermo del Toro, and he's like, "Hey, who is someone that like I want an actor to like cast around for the lead of my new game?" And he's like, "You should pick Norman Reedus."
Yeah.
I bet he'd do it.
That is the craziest, like how things work.
So Guillermo calls Norman Reedus. And I know this from like an interview he did on Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
And Norman was like, "Yeah, my buddy Guillermo del Toro called me and was like, hey, this Japanese guy is going to call you in a little bit. Just say yes to whatever he asks." And so he's like, and then my phone rings a little bit later, and it's this guy Hideo Kojima, and he's like, "I want you to be in my like next video game. What do you think?" And he was like, "Yeah, I've been told to say yeah." So yeah, let's do it.
That's tight, dude.
So that's how we got Death Stranding.
And now Death Stranding 2 as well.
And Death Stranding 2, which, oh my God, I'm so excited.
That's crazy. So actually, you said that Pacific Rim wasn't on your radar? Really?
Like, I don't remember any anticipation for it. I think I saw the trailer on TV and was like, "Oh, I should go see that in theaters," and just went on a whim with my wife.
I saw the trailer.
Yeah,
I saw Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo.
Yeah.
Guillermo. See, look at me. That's the one time I can't.
When I was a teenager, obsessed with Blade 2, I could not figure out how to say his name either. And I had a like Mexican neighbor who like looked at me one day trying to struggle and say it like you just did, and was like, "Guillermo."
Well,
and I was like, "Okay."
Funny enough,
Guillermo.
Jared, I know how to say Guillermo because that's William in Spanish.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah. So, but anyways,
I was not aware of that.
There you go. You're good. But anyways, Haley was really big into Pan's Labyrinth when it came out, and I remember watching the movie and being like, "Wow, this movie's fucking like phenomenal. It's so good," And I remembered the name because it's so strange. Mm-hmm. And when I saw his name attached to Pacific Rim, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna fucking rule! Like the creatures are gonna be wild." Mm-hmm. And I like mechs. That's like the one thing other than dinosaurs that I have like completely lasered in my focus on, which is giant robots.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, cool. I like Godzilla. I like Guillermo del Toro. I like mechs. This movie is made for me." And like just watching CGI, like beautiful CGI robots punch the fuck out of giant monsters, and it looked so good and was so well done.
And it's done with such gravity.
Yeah. And like I know that Del Toro, enjoys. He has to enjoy mecha. I've seen
this whole thing. He's this is a love letter to like all of the anime and like Godzilla films that I grew up watching. Yeah,
I think he was more of a Pat Labor, and Robotech fan, and not really Gundam. Like I know he likes Gundam, but I think that his love for mecha was from the other two big robot franchises. But that's okay. I don't care. I'll give him a pass for that one. This movie is so fucking good.
Yeah, man.
I love this film so much. And like, it's big. I remember people being like, "Is this the dumbest smart movie we've ever seen, or the smartest dumb movie we've ever seen? Who knows?" Because there's there is like an underlying message of unity and togetherness, and like, look at what we can do to
because like the world governments have like organized in this, and they're not the villain. No. It's like they're making a dumb choice by the movie's, presumptions that like they're shutting down the Jaegers.
Yeah.
But it's like, but still, it's a good thing that like all the world's like countries and everything have united.
Yeah.
And it's like the Jaeger unit itself is very multicultural. Like it could be a little bit more, but like it is very like white dude focused. But like it is like still trying to be multicultural, which is really cool. And everybody speaks multiple languages, which is so neat.
Yeah.
I love this.
In the book, there are way more countries in it, but that's supposed to be like
it was probably harder to do that in the film too.
It's supposed to show the attrition of like constantly fighting against these monsters with people who aren't actual fighters. Like once again, they weren't looking for pilots who were skilled at either, combat or military tactics or things like that. They were just looking for people who were drift compatible.
Which is such a like random thing, I guess. Yeah.
And so like you find should we like explain the mechanics of how this universe works? Like I just said, drift compatible, but like people don't fucking know what that is if they've never seen this film.
I guess we should go over it briefly. I don't have like a plot summary prepared because
we
like
don't need to.
this movie would be really long to do that with. But like we can just vaguely go over it. Well, real fast.
Yeah.
Reading over that list of Del Toro films, like I'm shocked we haven't done any of those yet. So like, let's make it a point that like we will do more Guillermo del Toro movies. Yeah, because they're all so good.
But which ones? Other than because like my favorite ones are obviously this film and then the Shape of Water and Pan's Labyrinth. Those are the ones that I really enjoy.
I love Pan's Labyrinth. I think it's maybe the best movie he's ever done.
Probably best original idea too.
Yeah. But I'm also I'm gonna make you watch Blade 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, we have to.
I think especially if the Mahershala Ali
one ever sees the light of day. Yeah, I agree.
Although he may be dropping out, I don't know. That there's so much scuttlebutt in that fucking movie.
Yeah.
But we'll just do Blade eventually, and then Blade 2 because it's like really fun, and I think you will enjoy Blade 2 more than Blade 1.
Sure.
It's more right up your alley because like Guillermo del Toro does the thing where. Here, to stop me if you've heard this before, there is a unit of a multicultural group of people who are really good at what they do, which is hunting vampires in this. Yeah.
That's crazy.
His ensemble cast includes Ron fucking Perlman.
Oh, yeah.
Who shows up as a guy. Is his name Hannibal in that too? I think it might have been. I need to look it up. I don't remember, but he kind of looks like a Nazi in it. And like, that's kind of the joke.
A cheeky little dude.
Dude, you're going to love Blade 2.
Oh, okay.
The more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, you're going to be like, Jared, why didn't you make me watch this sooner? There's a scene where Donnie Yen.
Oh, Donnie Yen's in that?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a scene where Donnie Yen stabs a vampire with a sword in its guts, right?
Yeah.
And the vampire is like not phased at all. And he just like crawls up the wall and lets the knife or the sword like cut through the rest of his body. And he just crawls away going,
oh my God.
This movie rules, man.
That's awesome.
It's so gross. It's like, they were like, hey, Del Toro, you're an up and coming director. Do you want to make like a sequel to this like overperforming comic book movie about vampires? And he's like, yes, I'm going to make it very gross. Is that okay? And they're like, I guess it's rated R.
Nice.
Yeah. It's so much grosser than the first one, which is so shocking. Anyway, we'll do more Del Toro movies. Yeah. I love his Hellboy movies.
Yeah, I've seen both of them. I've enjoyed both of them.
They're so good. Hellboy 2 too, like eclipses 1.
The creatures are amazing.
It's so good. Yeah, like those comics are incredible. Like go read those comics if you have any interest in like stuff like that, because they're just so fun and like kind of pulpy too a little bit, but like it's just really good. But he does a great job like adapting it to film. I haven't seen Nightmare Alley. Have you?
I did see Nightmare Alley.
What'd you make of that?
That's the one with Bradley Cooper, right?
Yes.
Hold on. I'm almost positive
It's like Lovecraftian.
Okay, hold on. This is what I'll say about Nightmare Alley, right? You find a man who's very desperate, down on hard times and stuff. You give him a job. And you say, no, I'm not going to geek. You say, okay, that's fine. It's fine. You give him a drink, get him addicted to the alcohol. A couple weeks down the line, he'll geek. He'll geek real good.
What?
Go watch Nightmare Alley and you'll understand what I just said. It's
what do you mean by geek exactly?
Go look it up. I'm not gonna say any more things because it's gonna ruin the whole movie.
I'll watch it eventually.
I enjoyed it. It was okay.
I thought Shape of Water was fine.
I loved it.
I don't know if it was Best Picture that year though. Like that kind of shocked me that it won.
I remember being in theaters and they hit the musical part, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, this movie fucking rules!" Like I was here for it.
I loved it's great. Michael Shannon is fucking murdering that movie.
He's so good in that film.
Yeah, he's good in everything though.
This is true.
When is Michael Shannon bad? Come on, Big Chicago,
Zod maybe.
Honestly, he's still good as Zod.
I was referring to Zod in the Flash film.
Oh, I think even he was like, I don't know what the fuck that was. Yeah, there was literally an interview recently where he was like, I don't
even know why they were having it. Yeah.
He's like, I only did that because like Zack Snyder told me to do it, and I like Zack Snyder, which Shannon. Yeah, I don't know about that one. maybe he made some mistakes.
He went too far in a few places.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Pacific Rim had a budget of $200 million. Every cent of that is on the screen though.
Yeah, $200 million. Damn, and I know it did not perform as well in the box office, right?
Oh,
domestically it didn't do well, but
Oh, sir, actually.
Oh, am I wrong?
It was a bigger international hit. It made $411 million.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
I do believe most of that was overseas, though.
It had to have been, because I remember the discourse, because this came out in 2013.
Yes.
The very next year, we got 2014 Godzilla.
Yes.
And 2014 wow, my country came out there for a second. The 2014 Godzilla film made back its budget and spawned multiple sequels.
Yeah.
Whereas this film, Del Toro was not brought back on to do the sequel to this film, and the sequel to the film was underperforming.
I don't know the whole story, but like something happened where, he doesn't direct two, but he did produce it.
Okay.
I don't know if it was like a scheduling thing, if he was attached to other stuff and couldn't.
It would have been significantly better if he...
Oh, I hands down agree. Yeah, wholeheartedly. That movie
in a way.
So, for those listening that don't know, like there was a sequel to this movie. It's called Pacific Rim Uprising.
Yeah,
and it stars the incredible John Boyega.
Yes,
but I refuse to see it because I feel like it would sully this one.
It doesn't sully it. Like, I hope that we can talk.
Don't
about...
they kill off like? Never mind. Never mind. We should.
No, we can talk about it at the end of this. When we're not talking about Pacific Rim, because I do want to I will make a case to watch the second film. But anyways, it's just I remember there being a lot of discourse about why we don't see a lot of original film anymore, especially sci-fi films, because this is the great example. Pacific Rim underperformed for American audiences, and then the Godzilla film that came out the year later did not underperform, and it's because people know what Godzilla is. People don't know what the fuck a Pacific Rim is, and it's so unfortunate because this world that they built is so rich in like world building, has got great visuals. All the characters are larger than life. I mean, they all have crazy ass names: Hercules, Hansen, Stacker, Pentecost, like Canceling the Apocalypse. All the fucking mechs have crazy ass names too.
All of the prototype work, like what is that called when artists are just doing conceptual work? Yeah, all of the conceptual work on this film, like, was very involved, and artists were constantly coming up with new mechs and kaijus, and they would, like, the entire team would just vote on their favorite one at the end of the week and systematically eliminate, like, ones that weren't making the cut.
But then they made it in the comic books.
But right, so they have leftovers for like the spare content, like for the trans media process, because this movie did get like a spinoff prequel book, comic books, two very bad video games that are already delisted. You can't find them anymore.
There were video games?
There was a PS3 game, PS3 and Xbox 360 game that got delisted within like 2 or 3 years. It was so bad. I've never even heard of it until I researched it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because I think multiple times we've been like, there should have been a video game, and there was, and apparently it sucked ass.
That's sad.
And there was a iPhone game that also went away very fast.
Don't fuck with that. Yeah.
I know. It sucked.
There was an anime. It had 2 seasons.
There was an anime.
I did watch it. It was, it followed more of the story of Uprising than it did Pacific Rim. Because, like, it takes place in Australia, but, like, it's weird. Like, Australia is not inhabited. And, like, we had the Wall. We have Stryker Eureka, the first and only 5th gen Jaeger, from Australia, and it does not make an appearance. I'm almost positive it's just a continuation of what happened in Uprising. But even then, like, that doesn't make any sense. The anime was, like, not worth it, unfortunately.
I'm giving it an official thumbs down.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But, like,
where was I?
It was so cool because, like, a lot of, as you said, they had all these different designs and shit because people were passionate about this stuff, and all those creatures made it into the comic books. A lot of them had, physical media made out of them, like toys and shit.
Right.
Like,
there's been 2 series of action figures
for Pacific Rim.
NECA, or I think it was NECA, did the first line when the movie was out, and then now Todd McFarlane has been putting them out too.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's been doing Uprising. Oh, no. They did actually reprint some of the old ones. That's true. But like my favorite Jaeger that barely is in the film at all, to Tacit Ronin. It's only in like that 17-minute part 1, like part of the film where they're like doing the world building.
Yeah.
They made that into a toy. I have it. It's at my house right now.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool, man. Like, the whole world is awesome. I love watching robots punch monsters. It's like it's my jam,
It's hard to fuck up,
It is hard to fuck up.
Because of the passion behind everyone working on this film, like, it's just done so well.
And it's not a franchise. It's so sad.
Yeah, I know. So Travis Beacham, that is his name. Yeah. Travis Beacham came up with the idea for this film while like walking down the beach one day and looking out over the horizon, across the coast, and was like picturing a giant robot fighting a giant kaiju, and was like, what would that feel like? And then what if like that robot took 2 people to pilot and one of them died? That was the original like conception. And that's the first 17 minutes of the film, essentially, and it's great. It's a great premise. And okay, we've already said the hero robot, the protagonist is mecha. It's called Gypsy Danger.
Yeah, Gypsy Danger.
Okay, we need to address that real fast. It's not a slur.
Okay.
It is, and it's not spelled the way the slur is either.
It's JYPSY.
GIPSY. So the main robot, Gypsy Danger, is a reference to a type of airplane engine, not the slur, which refers to the Roma ethnic group. The aircraft engine is called the Havilland Gypsy and was a very popular engine during and after World War II. And the idea was like that entire Gypsy Danger, the robot itself, was modeled after like American aircraft around World War II.
Oh, is that why the engine in the heart is the way that it is, or is it like
that could be like a thruster? Yeah, but the rest of it is like it's like boilerplate, like steel that has like that textured look to it, like 1940s like American plane would. It's supposed to replicate the aesthetic of a American warplane from World War II.
Gotcha. I honestly thought it was the fucking slur, and then they continued on with it with the Gypsy Avenger in the second film.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The new and improved Danger is called the Avenger.
Okay, yeah, because it gets so thoroughly fucked by the end of this movie.
Yeah, it's they blow it up.
Yeah, I mean that too, but like it's like thoroughly crippled before it even goes into the breach too.
They rebuild the. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because it's it fights against Raiju and like.
There's like 3 of them. I don't even know.
Oh, that's right.
Are.
Yeah, it limps across the. Yeah, that's right. I
to go into the breach, and then it gets nuked. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
Spoiler. Listen, you got to see this movie before you listen to this episode.
It's an 11-year-old movie. Like
what are you doing?
Reason
and it's on Netflix. Come on, everyone's got a Netflix account at this point. Come on. What are you doing? This movie did like make a ton of money on Blu-ray. Like not a lot of films. Like,
I have it. I have the Blu-ray.
I think I gave it to you though.
No, I bought it.
Oh, you bought it?
Yes, I bought it.
Wow, and you never buy physical media. Which,
no, I don't.
Yeah. But yeah, like they don't collect like that kind of information anymore. Like what the sales were on like Blu-ray. They don't release it anymore. I should say they collect it. They just don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
But like this movie does have details that like it made like over $1 million on Blu-ray.
I'm not shocked.
I'm like, yeah, this is a movie that like people who like physical media are going to fucking buy this shit.
Yeah.
And Guillermo del Toro himself has been very vocal about like people who collect Blu-rays are like single-handedly going to save the industry one day.
It's true. I remember getting that for myself and watching the movie like a couple of times, by myself in my apartment, watching the special features, watching the director's commentary. Like I just love this movie so much. I have like 0 complaints about it. Like there's some things in it that are kind of weird, but I really just thoroughly enjoy this film.
It's a very rewatchable film. It's highly entertaining.
The only part that kind of sucks is when Charlie Day goes to find Ron Perlman's character.
I love that part.
I don't. I know
the Hong Kong stuff, right?
Yeah, I don't. I know that like that gives you a peek into like how people are surviving.
Yeah,
and they like turned the dead creatures into a commodity and whatnot. Like I understand that like that's a good way to show what the world's about, but like fuck, I just don't give a shit about black market. Like a white dude who lives in Hong Kong that's running a black market on giant monster
Ron
bits.
Perlman. He's eating everything on screen when he's there. It's great. In fact, the post-credit scene when he cuts his way out of the belly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, he's not dead. He's like, where the fuck is my boot?
Stupid.
I love Ron Perlman.
I know. That's okay.
The slowest scenes to me were after the intro where they're like, oh, we got to get like Charlie Hunnam back.
Oh, and they get into the Shadow Dome.
Okay. So I find Charlie Hunnam to be the weakest part of this movie.
He is. Yeah, of course.
So
he's like such a normal, ordinary dude.
Right. And I'm not really buying the sadness and like I lost my brother.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't sell it very well. He just looks like your typical broy like machismo like buff movie star.
Sure. Yeah.
And like I think he's doing more interesting things now, but it's taken him like a decade to really get to a more interesting place.
Yeah.
But I was like having this conversation with my wife while we were watching, and I was like, who who would you recast him with now?
It's easy. It's a fucking one of the Chris's.
Hemsworth?
No, not Hemsworth.
Okay.
Evans? Yeah.
So Captain America.
Captain America.
Right? Okay.
He's my go-to white guy.
That was one of our propositions.
Yeah.
Was Chris Evans.
Sure.
And I was like, you know what? Picture him in Snowpiercer. And that's exactly like,
yeah, that's exactly who he is. Yeah.
That's a good call. That was one of our picks too. All three of the people I thought of, and this is, I don't know what this says about me. I don't know if that's because my head was in a sci-fi place, but all three people I thought of were all in the Star Wars sequels around the same time.
Oh, John Boyega.
I went to John Boyega, which I was like, it's a shame they waste him in the sequel because like
he was too young. He was too young when the first movie came out.
Was he? Oh,
yeah, he was like
you might be right.
Block.
God damn, you might be. I think you have a point there. Well, now I guess modern John Boyega.
Yeah, modern John Boyega would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And it would make sense for him to be in the second movie.
My other two picks though are Adam Driver and Oscar Isaac.
Not Adam Driver, Oscar Isaac, absolutely, because that also goes into like the multicultural aspect of the film.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac would have been a good pull.
Yep.
I think of those, I do think Oscar Isaac is the best all around because he would have been the appropriate age already.
Mm-hmm.
And the multiculturalism, it blends to that because like that's there were no Latino people in this movie, were there? That I can think of. Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Like
what's
the
his name?
operator guy.
Yeah, hold on. He has a weird name too.
I think he might be. I hope I'm not being racist.
No,
though.
he's
got like a rockabilly vibe though.
Yeah, he is Hispanic. 1 second. Pacific Rim. I think he's one of the only two people that show up in the second film and like don't die.
Doesn't die, yeah, because I heard Mako dies.
Mako dies,
sucks,
or Mako Mori dies.
Mako.
Which is like shit. He's Tendo Choi, but like it's Clifton Collins Jr. Idris Elba's name is Stacker Pentecost in this.
I'm sorry, is that not the coolest fucking first and last name you've ever heard in your life?
It's literally the coolest first and last name I've ever heard in my life. But like, people in this movie have weird fucking names.
Yeah.
Like once again, Hercules Hansen. That's the older Australian man.
Right.
Like his name is Hercules.
Yeah.
And like if you hear it wrong, without like subtitles, you think it's Hercules Handsome.
I mean, he is.
He is. It's true. It's very true.
Guillermo del Toro drew inspiration for this film from paintings including Francisco Goya's The Colossus and Hokusai's The Great Wave off Kanagawa.
Yeah, I love The Great Wave.
So if you're listening and you don't know what that is, like just picture a Japanese painting of a tsunami wave. You've seen it. Like it is a very famous painting. Now the Colossus, Google like Goya's The Colossus, and I'll try to put it in the show notes too.
Yeah.
It's a really fascinating painting. Goya is like a really fucked up painter. I really like the guy. I saw an exhibition on his work at the Salvador Dali Museum in St. Pete one time. And my wife and I bought a book on him because like he does like amazing like paintings about witchcraft.
This is the guy that has the weird human eating the other human.
Yes, he drew Neptune devouring his son.
Yes.
Yeah, Goya does some fucked up paintings.
Is fucking awesome.
He does great shit, like nightmare fuel shit.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, I love Goya. Like very, very fucked up paintings,
That's
man.
rad.
The computer in the film is voiced by Alan McLean, who also is the voice of GLaDOS in the Portal games.
I remember Kotaku, because I read Kotaku back then too.
Right,
I was like, hey, GLaDOS is going to be in this fucking weird ass movie.
Yeah. This is a cameo by quote unquote GLaDOS, as Guillermo del Toro was a huge fan of the Portal games, and he approached the developers, Valve, and they gave their blessing. Now, her voice is pitched a little differently.
Slightly different, yeah.
But it's clearly trying to emulate the GLaDOS sound effect. Okay. I have a bit of trivia I know you don't know.
Are you sure?
You know what? You might really impress me. Are you familiar with the Bechdel test?
I am familiar with the Bechdel test.
Okay. So for those listening, the Bechdel test...
I was going to bring up the Bechdel test in our last episode, actually.
Really?
Yeah, but keep going. It doesn't happen.
I guess Ferrari doesn't pass it.
No.
Okay, so for those listening that don't know, the Bechdel test is a test to measure the representation of women in film and other fiction. The test asks whether a work features at least 2 female characters who have a conversation about something other than a man. In some iterations, the requirement that the 2 female characters have names is added. So this is a famous test that came up kind of recently. It was in our life. Oh, in 1985, I guess, was the first time it was created. But it's amazing how many pieces of work, especially film, like fail it.
Yeah.
And it's to show that like representation of women in media is poor.
It's flawed, yeah.
And the more popular it's become, I think a lot of films have tried to address it. Sometimes you can feel like it's ham-fisted, and there are scenes inserted just so that they do pass the Bechdel test.
Sure, yeah.
But so because of Pacific Rim, which fails the Bechdel test.
Yeah, it has to.
It does. However, there was a alternative test created because of the film, because of Mako Mori's character. Now, the Mako Mori test is a set of criteria pertaining to the representation of female characters within a film, television show, or other work of fiction inspired by the character Mako Mori from the film Pacific Rim. And it's 2018, so we cool, the requirements of the Mako Mori test are that a film or television show has at least one female character, and that this character has an independent plot arc, and that the character or her arc does not simply exist to support a male character's plot arc.
Okay, yeah.
So they made an exception, an alternative test.
Did not know that this test existed.
Right. I didn't know about it until researching this.
Okay.
So they made a different version of the Bechdel test because, you know, the people looking into it was like, yes, Pacific Rim fails the Bechdel test. However,
the only other female pilot has like a couple lines.
Do you hear any lines from them? I don't remember them saying anything.
She commands the other Russian.
I don't remember a single thing either of the Russian people said. And I love Cherno Alpha. I think it's a great design. when
Cherno's swinging, she's saying stuff in Russian as they swing.
Let's punch. Let's activate the supercharge, like just shit like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Okay. You know, voice commands that all anime things do. And even when Cherno is going down, she says water has hit the reactor, and then it pops and dies.
I know.
Yeah, but she says stuff.
This movie has so many. It's constantly swinging between like setbacks, like real downer moments.
Yeah. The first time Crimson Typhoon goes down, like it just goes for the cockpit, which you don't really see any of the kaiju do. Because you know what happens in the first 20 minutes of the film is like in 2017. So like I think a year has passed.
Since, because then it jumps to 2020,
right,
and then 2025. Yeah.
And so they noticed that as the kaiju were fighting against Jaegers, they eventually got smart to, there are people inside the cockpit.
There are pilots that we need to aim for.
So we gotta kill the cockpit, and you can notice that Cherno, the cockpit is in the chest, and there's that giant reactor on top of it. Whereas Crimson Typhoon, it's right out in the open, and it's like the most exposed part of the fucking thing, and that guy just yanks the cockpit right off top, and I was like, no, not the best looking mech in the fucking movie. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What a bummer. But yeah, so they made a test for Mako Mori because she has like a complete character arc,
right? And
she doesn't even fall in love with Raleigh, like
thank God,
I know, right?
There's maybe one or two times where you're a little worried they're going to go there, but they don't. And she doesn't even like at the end when she pulls him out of the escape pod.
Yeah,
you're worried they're going to like share an intimate kiss, and they don't even do that.
No, they're just like
Jesus.
They're like, we did it.
Yeah, like we don't.
I
love it when a film is like, let's two characters be non-romantic, platonic, like platonic.
When you've got two hot people on the screen, they don't have to.
They don't always have to like.
They don't have to smooch
or imply that they're going to become romantically involved now. Like, and I'm not like trying to do like that weird Gen Z thing where they're like, I don't need any sex in my movies.
Yeah, no, but like it subverts expectations because like, these people are literally in each other's minds, right? Once again, let's go back to the drift real quick. It requires two people to pilot a Jaeger,
right?
And there's a thing where both of their minds kind of meld together. And the more drift compatible you are with the person that's in the cockpit with you, the more likely you will be able to operate the Jaeger to efficiency, right? So oftentimes you'll see pairs that are siblings or parent-child or real close friends. There is even, it has been alluded to that the two Russian pilots are in a relationship with each other,
right?
But it's never really said anything because like they have the same last name, but they could also be siblings because they look like each other.
And we don't get enough backstory on them, unfortunately.
But like our pilots are as follows: Yancey and Raleigh Beckett, they are brothers, separated by like a couple years. The two Hansons who pilot Striker Eureka, the Australian pilots, that's a father-son duo. I can't remember the triplets' names. I don't want to say Chang. Triplets.
I can look it up, but I don't know it.
But the triplets from China, they're triplets. They've grown up with each other. They are so in sync with each other that all three of them can be in this robot and operate multiple systems with each other to really like throw off the opposing kaiju. Cherno Alpha, obviously, those two have been fighting with each other for 6 years. That's the only Gen 1 Jaeger that we have, and they've never lost a fight. And, so they're obviously very compatible. So when you have two people who are not related to each other, in this thing, if they are able to work together, they can both see each other's like memories and thought spheres, all that other shit. This person on a more intimate level than you'll ever know any other human being on Earth. And if the fact that you can like be in that state and be in a life and death situation and come out on the other end not wanting to like absolutely blow each other's backs out is cool. It's a subversion of expectations, and I appreciated that.
I almost think it's because you're too close though to be
that could be it
at that point. You know what I mean? But like, okay, so this is like such a high concept idea that the film just kind of like throws at you and then just like, okay, let's move on. Like it does not really sit in it except for the one scene where
Mako chases the rabbit and she like falls real deep into a specific memory.
The first time that they go to pilot Gypsy Danger together in the as a test, and they both like fall into their traumas. Charlie Hunnam's character falls into like when his brother dies, but he pulls himself out of it quickly. But Mako falls into the time when she was rescued as a little girl by Idris Elba's character, which like amazing scene. And like hits a lot differently now that I have a baby girl too.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, so do you know the reason why Idris Elba's character was there? There's a whole like they cover it in the book.
Oh shit!
That's a part of the prequel,
right?
So that Jaeger had been deployed previously, and it was Idris Elba, Stacker Pentecost, and Mako's father.
Oh,
so whatchamacallit, the strain of piloting, because they piloted it for like 12 hours. That fight went on forever.
Yeah,
and the strain was so much that Mako's father dies in the process, and Stacker obviously is able to not only continue to pilot the Jaeger but defeat the creature and save Mako. He felt like that was his daughter because he was drifting with her father.
Jesus, they don't even allude to this.
Nope.
Because it's implied that like Stacker, like Idris Elba's character, like adopts her, I guess, after he rescues her during the fight.
But it's more than that.
Wow. That's amazing. That should have been the sequel. Shit. No,
I know.
Maybe not, because like maybe that's not enough. It's good enough for like a prequel comic or book, but like maybe not for a whole ass movie.
Sure. Also, since we're talking about the drift, did you know that they filmed all of that with a blue light? They just beamed a fucking blue light onto the set to like coat it in blue. That's all practical. That's not CGI.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, so all of the scenes where they're piloting the Jaegers.
Oh, that too. But I'm talking about specifically when they're drifting. The scenes where that's bathed in blue.
Oh,
that's all filmed, and that's not a filter. They blasted blue light on people.
Oh, just as they're doing like their flashbacks essentially to their memories.
Yes.
Okay, but not when they like go to like when they drift with the aliens or the kaiju.
No. Yeah, they somehow figured out,
and you see them aliens, like building them,
and they're like, what the fuck? How'd they get a camera here? Yeah, no, I'm sorry, but yeah, the set.
Well, the sets for where they're piloting the Jaegers, like that was one real like 4-story set.
Yes,
and there's like sparks flying, and like when Mako goes into like her memory, that's real snow that's like blowing in there and stuff. It's so cool. And for each robot, they just like shot all their scenes for each robot, and then they would dress it up to look like whatever this robot would look like on the inside, and then move on to the next one.
And the sets even fucking shook, like when
there was like
a hit
hydraulic stuff so that it was shaking.
So cool.
Again, all the money's on the screen, baby.
Yeah, 100%.
Also, okay, Charlie Day's character we haven't even talked about yet.
Yeah, because why would we? I'm just kidding.
No, I think he's incredible in this. This was the first time I saw him in something other than Always Sunny, which I know you don't really have a lot of familiarity with Always Sunny.
I've literally never watched it.
I think you would really enjoy it.
Yeah,
like it is a very zany and like offensive, but like borderline like offensive. Like Like they're doing just enough to be offensive, but not actually like enough to get canceled, kind of thing. Anyway, this isn't the Always Sunny episode, but Guillermo del Toro apparently gave him the role in this film so that he could have a guest starring role on Always Sunny because he was a big fan.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, he plays a real creep in it. It's
actually,
great.
Speaking like weird circumstances, I'm almost positive that Charlie Hunnam got his role because he was on Sons of Anarchy with Ron Perlman. That's
very possible. Yeah, because they were actually in a few things together. I think. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's.
Did you know that Charlie Day's character is the main villain in the sequel?
No,
he's the main villain in the sequel. You want to know why? So when he drifts with the kaiju brain, part of
the kaiju
is in his brain, and it's using him as a spy to coordinate stuff. Yeah,
he's really cool.
The main villain.
I didn't know he came back.
Yeah, he's him and Gottfried return. Mako obviously returns, and then the guy that I literally just talked about,
the operator guy.
The operator guy. He comes back, and like. There's some cool stuff that's happening in that film, but whenever you want to get there and talk about it, we will. There's still so much more about Pacific Rim proper that we can talk about.
I really enjoy Charlie Day's character. I think he's great at being like this manic, kaiju obsessed researcher.
He doesn't take like that. He's I think part of the reason why his character exists is to have that aspect of the world that does not take the threat seriously. Because like they commodified kaiju, they're like, oh, we were beating them so much that it didn't matter. We were making them into toys and fucking shoes and shit, So,
but then he like when he's being targeted and he realizes it in Hong Kong, and then he's in the basement or in the shelter, and he's like, "It's after me! He's after me!" And he starts telling the people, and they're like, "What?" And then they like separate.
How would you get the fuck away from us?
I love. He's doing like Rick Moranis in Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
like that's kind of what he's playing in this. Like it's really fun and like very entertaining. I thought, like even when he's running away with the crowds in Hong Kong, like the film just kind of focuses on him, just like in the crowd, like freaking out, with everybody. And then when that one kaiju breaks into the shelter to get him, and like its bioluminescent tongue comes slithering down. It's so great.
That's very good.
I thoroughly enjoyed him though. I thought he did a great job, as did the other researcher who was like the creepier, like uptight
Gottfried.
Gottfried
is the character's name. Yeah,
his name is something Burnham.
I don't know who he is.
He's like he becomes a Guillermo del Toro like mainstay after this.
Oh, okay.
And I've not yet watched it, but my buddy Jason for Christmas picked up the Criterion version of Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Is he in that?
He's apparently one of the leads in that.
Oh, cool.
I just saw it on his IMDb when I was researching for this.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get to there because I hear that is excellent. And like Pinocchio was like one of the first movies I ever saw, like the Disney one, obviously. Yeah. So I'm excited to see like Guillermo del Toro's fucked up Pinocchio.
I want to see it too. Gottfried actually has one of the coolest lines in this film as well.
Yeah.
It's like not math is the only thing that matters, not poetry, not politics. Math is the closest thing that we have to the voice of God.
Oh.
Because he's not wrong, like mathematics.
Yeah, he has some arguments for that.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite subject in school, though.
It was a really cool thing, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to predict that there's 2 are going to show up, and then we're going to have 3, and I'm going to be like right on the money." And he is, that both of them are correct in a way, but
in their theories,
But I really like Gottfried's character.
Yeah. This movie only happened because Guillermo del Toro was set up to make In the Mountains of Madness, an adaptation of an H.P. Lovecraft book. One of his lifelong dreams.
Yeah.
He's been wanting to make that movie for years and years and years. It was going to star Tom Cruise.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. And when it fell apart, he was devastated. But he had a clause in his contract, I think, that was like, if this movie falls apart, like I will be allowed to make Pacific Rim. It was like his backup option.
Okay.
And apparently, like when he got the word that like In the Mountains of Madness was done, he's like, I cried all day, and he's like, and I don't normally do that. I'm not normally,
like fucked up over
about projects falling apart like that. But he was like, that one hit me so hard. But the very next day, like I signed off to do Pacific Rim, and I was like, let's move on, let's do it.
And I'm glad that it happened.
Yeah, and I feel like because of that, he put his heart and soul into this film. He's like, what? I'm gonna have a fucking fun time making this incredible movie that's like a passion project now.
It's such a breath of fresh air. Like it's once again a new IP something that we've never seen on screen shown in such a way, you know?
It's not wholly original. It is kind of borrowing elements from existing things,
stuff,
but it's not being ham-fisted either. It's interesting enough that we want it to be its own franchise, and we wish it got the life it could have had.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, we haven't had a live action film that has had giant robots done in a serious but also unserious tone. Does that make sense? Because the film has this dark tone, but then we have dumbass things like when the Danger punches into the building and like taps the stupid metal ball,
the Newtonian balls. Yes,
it's fucking stupid. Or like, oh hey, we've been fighting this kaiju for 30 minutes. Let's use the fucking arm sword.
Hey, remember that sword we've had in the robot the whole time?
Yeah, let's just use that. It cuts straight through the creature. You know,
listen, when they whip it out on the sea creature that's flying at them, and they just cut the whole thing in half.
Oh yeah, it's like, yeah, it's so cool.
Okay, I think that's the success of this movie. It is like perfectly appealing to every 10-year-old boy, while also being kind of grounded, but not in as like Zack Snyder way where it's like very dark and gritty.
It can poke fun,
but it can be both light and fun, and have like Charlie Day running around Hong Kong being chased by a kaiju and being scared for his life, while also being like there are giant robots like punching kaiju, like, you know, monsters in the face, which is fun, but also like people are sacrificing their lives to like save the world. Mm-hmm. Like it's all done with the same levity. Yeah. You know, it's
I mean, we spend so much time with a character whose whole focus is winning the fight and stopping these creatures from showing up. Piloting a mech with a person who has such huge ego because he's the most successful Jaeger pilot. Do the most noble thing, blow themselves up so that...
And there's no argument. They're just immediately like, yeah, we got to launch this nuke now. Like,
we got to do it.
Yeah.
And just to complete the mission. And like, you have like the darkest shit that happens in the same film, once again, with Charlie Day running around being a fucking goofball. Or Ron Perlman having a knife in his goddamn boot, you know? Like, right? Doesn't he have a knife in his boot? No.
His boots are gold plated.
Yeah, and he's got switchblade. That's right. Yeah.
So those boots were so sick. He kept them after filming.
Of course,
he still has them to this day. He's like, I love those things. Yeah, I love him.
But yeah, this movie's got it all, dude.
It's so good.
It's so good.
When the bomb that they have, the nuclear bomb, not atomic,
goes off underneath the water,
and then I forgot that they like all the water just is gone,
goes away
momentarily, and you see fish splashing, and then it comes back.
Such a cool concept.
Is that realistic?
I have
especially
no idea.
In the Mariana Trench. I don't know.
Who the fuck knows?
It's fucking cool.
Yeah, it's cool shit.
It has like sometimes this movie is allowed to get away with its like comic book like sensibility.
Yes,
you know, but it's fine.
Yeah,
like it's fine.
You're already locked in. You're already like okay, it's a movie with giant monsters and robots.
Yeah, it literally opens with like giant monsters attacking cities. Like you're allowed to like get a little goofy, but the film knows exactly how serious to take itself. You know what I mean? Like it nails the tone so well.
Yeah,
I think I would argue it's much more successful than the legendary Godzilla pictures.
Yes,
which are still feels like they're swinging constantly back and forth.
A perfect example, and we literally, I think we either said it on the last episode or in between recording, where we're like, I think that Godzilla X Kong might suck. It probably will suck because who cares about what the hell is going on with human stuff, but you have to have the human element in order to make
and they do such a bad job at the human stuff every single time.
Exactly.
In the legendary pictures ones, to be clear, because -1 showed us that like it doesn't have to suck.
-1 is the only Godzilla film, because I haven't seen Shin, that gets the human part right. Now, I'm going to say, sorry, I've seen a good portion of other Godzilla films. They all suck.
I haven't seen all
the monster fights are fine.
All of the Toho Japanese ones, but like I'm sure some of them are okay.
Sure, but what I was going to say is they get the human element in this film right.
Yeah.
And I guess it's because there isn't a giant, iconic, singular creature that the film has to be around. Because it is a new IP, it can do more because it doesn't have the preconceived notions for people going into it, and it's just a fucking shame that this film like doesn't have the franchisability that it absolutely deserves.
Yeah,
you know, it's just it's a bummer. But hey, you know what? I still get new Jaeger statues every like 5 years, so I guess I'll take it.
Yeah,
whatever. All right, hey, do you want me to tell you like what happens in the second movie, since you said you're not going to see it?
I think I will watch it eventually.
I want to be there when you do.
Yeah, that's an in-person thing. We should have watched this in person together, honestly.
It would just be me and you hooting and hollering at the fucking TV.
Who doesn't want that?
You got a new kid. I don't want to wake her up.
She had a good time. She sat in my lap almost the entire time I watched it.
That's awesome.
And she was enthralled. Now, a lot of the riff scenes, I covered her eyes because I was worried they were going to mess her up because it's strobing blue light.
It's very stroby. That's true. Well, so this is what I'll say about the second film. And I remember a big complaint going around was the weight of the robots was like not nearly as impactful. Like everything like moved way too smoothly and shit.
I feel like they tried really hard to make it feel impactful because I remember feeling it in the theater.
Oh yeah,
and maybe with a big loud sound system is like the best way to experience it, to try to feel it, and on the biggest screen possible, of course.
Yeah. Because I saw the second movie in theaters,
but it doesn't feel that flimsy having just watched it again today, literally like hours ago.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that flimsy.
I'm not saying the original, I'm saying the sequel.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
An Uprising. Okay.
Yeah, because like in Uprising...
Maybe it's because they put so much attention into it in the first one, and it probably takes more, time and money to focus on stuff like that,
That could be the case.
Yeah.
That could be the case. Well, so... I don't know what to say. Like, I think that the sequel was serviceable. Like it is kind of weird that Secker had a kid that we didn't even know about, and like he supposedly grew up with Mako in his house, and Mako's like a big sister to him.
I'm assuming John Boyega is
Stacker's kid. Okay. Yeah, and then it's
probably because Idris Elba was like, I'm not doing this shit. Also, I'm dead.
Also, he's dead. Yeah,
I was dead in this.
The bigger one was they didn't get Charlie Hunnam to come back. Like, which they talk about him in like hushed whispers, even because like he was. So Boyega's character is brought on as the new pilot to Gypsy Avenger, who was piloted by Raleigh and Clint Eastwood's son,
Scott Eastwood.
Scott Eastwood is the pilot.
Boring.
Yes,
I'm sorry. He's in a lot of the like recent Fast and Furious movies, and he
is he?
Sucks.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's good looking, but
he is
the man cannot act. Apparently, his dad did not bother to teach him how to do that.
That's sad. He is good looking. But anyways, so yeah, Scott Eastwood is the co-pilot for John Boyega's character, and yeah, there has to be some sort of familial tie between him and Raleigh, but I don't know what it is because they don't have the same last name. They don't they really don't talk about him at all. And it is actually implied that he goes to work for a new company that's building AI Jaegers, but they're all like controlled by him. He's the best pilot, that's still alive, and it's implied that he dies there due to an accident that is handled actually in the movie. There's a person who I'm assuming is supposed to be Raleigh that gets like synaptic feedback and it roasts him in the film. But yeah, they do kind of a mobile doll situation like how they do in Gundam. I actually think that the guy who directed it like watched a lot of Gundam Wing. Because there's a fight in there where there's like a new year shows up and it's like Rogue, like it starts fighting Gypsy Avenger during like a diplomatic thing, and that's how Mako dies, and they go and they chase it down and fight it in the Antarctic, which there's a very famous fight in Gundam Wing in the Antarctic between the Tall Geese 1 and the Heavy Arms, which I know you know what those are, but people who are listening have no idea what the fuck. Oh, you don't know either?
No.
Oh, I thought you watched. Never mind. But
I wish I like watched Gundam, but like I've tried every once in a while on like Toonami.
Yeah.
But like I'm not watching a whole arc. I'm like dropping in on single episodes and being like, this is fascinating.
Yeah. Well, anyways, there's a fight that happens in the Antarctic, and it fucking rules. And so they have that same fight between the Gypsy Avenger and the Obsidian Fury is the other thing. And that fight is cool as fuck. That fight is so cool, and it sells the whole movie to me, honestly. But then like you get a whole team up where all the kids that are going to be the new Rangers have to fight against this impending threat, and they all get fucking thrashed. It's actually really sad. But one of the Jaegers in that is like doing flips and kicks and shit, and it's like moving super smooth and whatnot. And that's just like very antithetical to how all the Jaegers in the first movie operate. And even to the point where like Crimson Typhoon was the only Jaeger rumored to be able to jump, kick, like do flips and shit, because it had a neural load of 3 people in it, and it was supposed to be like built to be agile and whatnot. And the most that we see in the first film is they like jump up, boost, spin around, and toss the
they do like a flip over the kaiju when it first starts fighting. Yeah,
but like that's nothing.
I mean,
that's nothing. And like it doesn't do anything.
It's amazing how quickly this movie dispenses with like all the other Jaegers.
Yeah, they all get killed off so fucking fast, and it's a real bummer because like Stacker's like, these are legendary fighters. This is the only triplet team, and they have this special thing called the Thundercloud formation, and these guys have been fighting for 6 years, and they're unstoppable, and they both get clapped within 5 minutes.
And they're also like, to Charlie Hunnam's character, like, you're here because all the other pilots are dead.
Exactly. Like we're
like, this is how like dangerous it is to be a Jaeger pilot. It's like you're either the best of the best or you're already fucking dead at this point.
Right.
Like, that's it, man.
Yeah. And I guess like maybe it like ups the stakes. Like it would have been nice.
That's the thing. The stakes are in this entire movie are like
dire. Yeah,
so fucking dire.
Every misstep is like you're losing. Like
reset the clock.
Exactly.
It really has weight to it, that statement. And then I love at the end they get to go stop the clock.
Yeah,
it's great.
But it would have been nice to have one fight where the Crimson Typhoon and Cherno Alpha are able to show what they can do and not lose, so that we have in the next combat them dying immediately is like, oh fuck, this is very bad, so
right.
It is what it is.
Well, because the first hour of the movie is just constantly being like, this is bad.
Yeah.
Oh, this is real bad.
Yeah.
Oh, this is getting worse somehow. Oh no, and now it's real bad.
We were supposed to have 4 Jaegers, now we only have 2?
Yeah.
Shit. So,
oh god.
Good question for you, Jared. If we were living in the Pacific Rim universe, who would you be drift compatible with? And don't cop out and say your wife.
I mean, easily though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be her. But like outside of obviously my partner. Damn, that's a good one. I don't know. Cuz like it's not necessarily always
it doesn't have it doesn't have to
like
be
I don't have a
relative.
sibling either, which is a majority of them, it seems.
Yeah, but one of the Hansons, the Hercules Hanson and his son are not siblings, clearly.
But their father and son.
Yeah. Do you think you could pilot a Jaeger with your dad?
Honestly, maybe not. I don't know.
It's my brother, 100%.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's easy for me. It's been 1000%.
They don't really get into like to like nail down the mechanics of like what is being drift compatible. They're just like, you either have it or you don't, basically, with other people. Because like he get Charlie Hunnam's character gets it with Mako Mori's character just because. Not because they think alike or anything.
It is because they think alike.
Is it? Because she's just constantly telling him, like, you're better than this. And that he's just impressed by that, I think, is why he's like, I want to drift with her.
So when they fight, when they're doing the sparring, it is implied that they both know what the next person's move is going to be. And because they know each other's moves and they're able to parry, defend, all this other shit against each other, it implies that they're going to be good at drifting because they're thinking the same. Right.
I see what you're saying, but like, wouldn't it to show that more clearly, shouldn't they be constantly drawing and not constantly like she actually defeats him, she beats him, she gets more wins.
Because he's being like careless. Because at one point, they both get like do tit for tat on each other because they're both like
it's like 0-1, 1-1, 2-1.
It's silly shit like that. But like the last 2 rounds, they're definitely more on par with each other.
Right. And I think maybe it's because he's finally putting in effort and matching her.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, but then when they finally go into the suit and they're really there,
and it goes poorly the first time.
Exactly. Yeah. But like, so say you're around somebody for so long that you have a lot of similar experiences with them. So you're able to not only think like how they would think, and maybe even have an unspoken
understanding
and stuff.
Yeah.
But the more traumas that you share together, the less likely you'll both chase the rabbit and not be out of sync. So that's why I think that it'd be easy answer for me is my brother, because we've just shared so much of our life together. Maybe not so much anymore. I would actually cop out and say my wife, but yeah. I've hung out with you so much that we could do this.
I mean, yeah, it came to mind. I'm like, honestly, if it came, like, if Stacker Pentecost landed in my front yard in one of those like cool ass helicopters and was like, Judd, it's time to pilot the Jaeger. I'm like, who you got? I'm like,
robot.
I feel like Will's been waiting his whole life for this. Let's go to his house.
I can't deny him from this fucking moment.
Like, we'll make the neural drift work. We'll do it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna learn a lot of stuff real fast. So.
It's true. So then the next question is like, what would your Jaeger's name be?
Oh my god! See, I was prepared for like dreamcasting, recasting Charlie Hunnam.
Oh, it's easy.
But like, I didn't think of like what I want my fucking Jaeger to be. That's a good question.
It's got to be Florida themed, dude. It's got to be.
No, I don't think of Florida as my personality.
It's got to be the Gator Rat, dude.
Fuck off.
The Gator Rat.
No.
The Swamp Puppy.
No.
The Retirement Home.
No. It'd be a giant Batman.
Dude, it's just the Bat.
Yeah. It's just, oh my God. Yeah. It's just the Bat.
It's just the Bat, dude. Fuck.
It's just a giant emo ass like robot with like, the big bat ears and a little bat cape.
See, and the bat ears actually help deter the creature from fucking reaching over and smashing the cockpit because it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Don't fucking touch the top of the cockpit, baby.
And it's got loudspeakers on the outside that are blasting something in the way.
Ooh. It's always raining whenever we're out on a flight.
It has this black eye makeup for some reason on the robot's face.
You can't see shit out the fucking window.
How are we supposed to see? Sonar.
Oh, it's the bat. No, wait, that actually works because like, what if they spray acid on the windshield? We can hear
We're just prepared,
bitch.
Oh, yeah, sonar, like a submarine, Mr. Wayne, like a submarine.
Jesus, actually, little thing I forgot to mention this when I was talking about like the kaiju going after the cockpits.
Yeah.
You can actually see when the American design pivoted to protect the cockpit.
Right.
And that's Romeo Blue. Romeo Blue is that big blue one that has the metal bar right in front of the helmet. It's also one of the ones that has the shoe and the twins that are in a suit that are being late night talk show hosted. Those are the pilots for Romeo Blue.
Yeah. Man, I could have done with like so much more of that. And like, I know it's like, it's very efficient, and it like this movie's already like 2 hours and like 10 minutes, I think. Mm-hmm. So like it's getting in and out. It's not overstaying its welcome. Yeah. But like me personally, put that shit on another disc. You know what I mean? Like
that's
the anime series should have been like all of this.
Yes,
extra
it
stuff.
Should have.
And from what I understand, it's not.
It's
right.
Not. It's so not. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's fucked. It's sad. It makes me sad.
Yeah.
But yeah. I want turn the comics into a movie. Just do something, man. I want more.
I would even take like Ron Perlman's character, like having a side story, and like in the background you're watching like Jaeger's fight stuff.
Yeah, he's like doing a deal on the street, and
he's like, oh, we got another dead kaiju, like we got to roll up on it, and him and his team like go and like start cutting it
away,
up,
and then you can see the Jaeger like walking off,
or
being picked up by the
and you just hear like in the background like fading.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, do you know who is doing that guitar riff on the soundtrack?
Don't tell me it's Trent Reznor.
No, it's not Trent Reznor, but it is a guitarist of a band that I still love to this day, but always loved as a teenager.
Who?
Rage Against the Machine. Tom Morello.
Oh, you're not fucking... Are you serious?
Morello.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that? It made me appreciate it so much more.
That's really cool. He'd be on the side of the kaiju, because they rage against the machines.
Shut the fuck up.
And
the podcast is over. We made it for a year. Debaser's coming to an end now.
That was a good joke. Fuck you.
Folks, it's been a fun ride.
I got you good, dude.
You did. You pissed me off. Oh, God.
Just want to end it.
Okay. Well, folks, thank you for listening to Debaser. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to us on your podcast app and follow us on social media by searching for @DebaserPod. We also have a YouTube channel, which you can subscribe to. We are looking to hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, so please check us out there. I've been Jared Rusk, and my lovely co-host has been Will Taylor. Will, where can people find you, and would you like to plug anything?
Pocket_infinity on Instagram. I said it last episode, but I'm going to say it again. I'll be at Adepticon. If you're going to be at Adepticon, come by the Games Workshop booth. Say hi to me. Tell me how much you love this specific episode, because I know you do. Pacific Rim fucking rules. And this is coming out the last week of February. Yeah. I think the last day of February, in fact. Tight. I haven't looked at the calendar yet. Very good. Yeah. All right, that's a wrap, everybody. Listen, we made it a year. Thank you for listening. Whether this is your first episode or your last, or our last. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. If you've been on the ride since we fucking first started this, you rock. You have a special place in my heart, right next to Pacific Rim.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a great excuse to hang out and talk with you, Will.
Yeah. Watch new movies.
Yeah, to force ourselves to watch new movies or to revisit old ones.
Yeah.
I told you in the beginning, I'm like, listen, nobody may listen to this, and it's just an excuse for us to hang out and talk about movies, once a week or so, but
by golly, we're doing it.
It's been fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's to another year, I guess.
Fuck yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
We're renewing the podcast.
We're starting it back up. We're not going to talk about Tom Morello ever again.
The sorest spot in the Debaser history. Folks, we're renewing the podcast.
Oh my God.
All right, that's a wrap. Good night, everybody. Debaser is hosted and produced by Will Taylor and Jared Rusk. Want to email the show? Send it to podcast@debaserpod.com. Want to help us out? Please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice, especially Apple Podcasts. If you write a 5-star review of Debaser on Apple Podcasts, I may read your review in a future episode. Thanks for listening, and take care out there.